Welcome to the inaugural event of the Coelho Center for Disability Law, Policy, and Innovation. My name is Katherine Perez, and I have the pleasure of serving as the Center's first director. As an attorney, scholar, and activist, I am grateful for the opportunity to give all parts of myself fully to help build on the legacy of disability rights that so many people, including many of you in the audience, such as Helena Berger, Anna Zavarts, Terry Hartman Squire, and of course, the Honorable Tony Coelho, have fought so hard to achieve. Housed at Loyola Law School, but an interdisciplinary center of Loyola Marymount University, the Coelho Center brings together the critical theory of an academic institution with the praxis of professionals and leaders engaged in disability rights. Sometimes theories in academia can sound a little esoteric, but to break it down to the core, this is about love, respect, and the celebration of diversity. When we embrace disability in our society, we are embracing diversity. And when our society becomes more accessible, we will start to feel the positive impact. The Coelho Center is built on 3 pillars. 1, we will convene the top leaders in disability law and policy. 2, we will generate and disseminate knowledge at the intersection of disability, technology, and innovation. And like a good mother, I couldn't possibly pick a favorite. But if I could, the 3rd pillar is to increase the pipeline of law students with disabilities, which will increase the number of attorneys, judges, and elected officials with disabilities. We will do this, yes. We will do this by creating an advisory board of current attorneys and law students with disabilities to understand their experiences, to listen to their concerns, and to build programs to promote better practices. We need people with disabilities in positions of power who are making decisions for our community. Today's symposium is brought to all of you by a generous grant by the California Endowment. Thank you to the California Endowment. Today you will hear from experts on polling, technology, and the role of Hollywood and the media in combating stigma. Today we will start conversations and calls to action on giving voice to the disability electorate through national polling, promoting innovation in technology by and for disabled inventors, and dismantling attitudinal barriers and tackling stigma through advertising, film, and production. Today is a starting point for us at the Coelho Center. We will build on all the synergy and all the conversations we have today, and you are all a part of this. Today is the day before the national midterm elections. Our conversations today will respond to persistent issues that continue to create barriers to the civic engagement and leadership of people with disabilities. The CDC recently came out with a study that said 1 in 4 Americans are disabled. 1 in 4. We matter. Our voices matter, and our vote matters. And when we move beyond inclusion to promoting disabled leadership, our society will feel the strength of the disability impact. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. My name is Michael Waterstone. I am the Dean of Loyola Law School and Senior Vice President of Loyola Marymount University. I'm also at the moment the only thing standing between you and a fascinating lunch talk. So I'm going to be pretty brief. It is wonderful to be here and to see this coming together. I want to acknowledge a few special guests. Obviously, Tony Coelho, who has, through the process of creating the Coelho Center, which we will spend more time with and celebrate today going into the evening, it's really been the professional honor of a lifetime to get to work with Tony, to get to see his passion, his vision, how he brings people together. And today is just one continuing small step in how we continue to do that. So Tony, thank you for everything that you have done. I also, of course, want to thank our team. Putting a day like this together is a lot of work. I'm not going to acknowledge everyone individually, but everyone that is pulling us together today that has done so much work to support the event, thank you for all that you do. And I also want to acknowledge Katherine Perez, the first director of the Coelho Center. Katherine, where are you? Oh, there you are. We are so very lucky to have Katherine. More on that later. So, and finally, a few other folks. I want to acknowledge Kathy Aikenhead and David Burcham for being here. Kathy and David are trustees of the Hannon Foundation. David, former president of Loyola Marymount University, former dean of Loyola Law School, and the guy that hired me. So thank you guys for being here. So Katherine already, and I'm sorry, I want to acknowledge my colleague Dale Smith from the business school who is here. Dean Dale Smith. Dale, thank you for coming. And is Chris Brancolini here yet? If not, we'll hear from her later. Katherine started out talking about the importance of political participation for people with disabilities. And obviously we can't emphasize enough how important that is. No change happens without participation. This has been a persistent issue. The first research project that I did as a baby academic was looking at barriers in polling places for people with disabilities. And we found that at that time, which was in 2000, over 80% of polling places had one or more impediments to the political participation of people with disabilities. And if we were to run that study today, the numbers would look a little better, but not nearly where they need to be. This topic is of crucial importance to our community. The lunch talk you're going to hear is really just phase one of this. We are just dipping our toe into how the Coelho Center will have an impact in this area. We plan to do a lot more, and we are going to be working with the LMU Center for the Study of Los Angeles, which, as many of you know, is one of the many jewels in the LMU empire. So we're very excited about our collaborations there. But we start today with our speaker, David Merman. So let me introduce David. David is a pollster and political strategist for over 20 years. He's a partner at Lake Research Partners and heads the firm West Coast office in Berkeley, California. He advises incumbents and challengers at all levels of the electoral process, as well as a wide range of advocacy organizations, foundations, and policymakers, both in the U.S. and in other countries. He polls for 5 current members of Congress. Now, we're not going to ask them who they are, if they'll still be members of Congress after the election. He's advised senators, governors, mayors, state legislators, and ballot initiative campaigns. He joined LRP in 1996. He presents on his findings all over the country and has been a frequent guest lecturer at University of California, Berkeley. So today, David will be presenting our lunchtime keynote entitled The Disability Community, Election, and the Next Congress. David, thank you for joining us.